Have you ever had that strange feeling of being stuck in time, as if the whole world were moving forward, except you? As if the people around you were harvesting, celebrating, winning, and you kept praying for the same things, crying over the same pains, waiting for the same answers that never seem to arrive? It's not madness, it's not failure, it's not divine punishment. It's a sign. And what is happening now, at this very moment you're watching this video, is cosmic proof that God hasn't forgotten your name. He's just rearranging pieces on a chessboard that your mind can't yet fully grasp. There's a game being played on invisible layers. A game where heaven's time doesn't obey earthly clock rules. A game where every second of waiting is calculated, every delay is stitched with purpose, and every not yet you hear in prayer is, in fact, a divine shield being positioned before the blessing arrives. Think with me. What if everything that seemed like a delay in your life, the promotion that didn't come, the relationship that broke, the door that closed, the no you received when you expected a yes, was precisely the proof that heaven is maneuvering invisible forces to position you in the exact place on the exact day with the exact people? What if the delay wasn't rejection, but alignment? What if God is telling you today, through these words that reach your ears at the moment they need to reach you, that everything will align in your favor at the perfect time, and that perfect time is not the time you marked on your mental calendar, but the time when the entire universe will conspire so that the victory is complete, definitive, and impossible to be stolen? Listen carefully to what I'm about to reveal, because there's a brutal difference between delay and alignment. Delay is accident, it's failure, it's abandonment. Alignment is divine engineering, it's millimeter precision. It's love in the form of waiting. When God holds back a blessing in your life, it's not because he forgot. It's because he's waiting for three things to happen on the invisible plane. First, the enemy who was prepared to steal that blessing needs to be removed from your path. Second, the wrong people need to leave your life, even if it hurts, even if it seems like a loss, even if you cry for them. Third, you need to become the exact version of the soul that that blessing requires, so as not to be destroyed by it. Until these three gears turn together on the spiritual plane, nothing happens on the material plane. And that's where most people give up. That's where most people believe the lie that God has abandoned them. That's where the enemy whispers in your ear, "Look, you've been forgotten. Look, it won't work out. Look, it's not for you." But you are here today precisely because something within you refuses to believe that lie. And that silent refusal is the first sign that you were chosen for something greater than your rational mind can process right now. And that's why I've prepared this powerful ebook for you, the God's Chosen Family Protection Handbook. Because everything you're experiencing, this painful wait, this feeling that time is passing and nothing changes, this anguish of seeing others move forward while you remain, is the visible layer of a much deeper battle being waged in the spiritual backstage of your story. This ebook isn't just for reading. It's a map that reveals who is playing against the timing of your victory, what the rules are that they never told you about how to cooperate with divine alignment without violating heaven's schedule, and what your family needs to do to avoid being hit while a greater blessing is being forged in the depths of the invisible. It specifically shows what to do during periods of waiting, how to shield your loved ones, how not to let the enemy use the delay to sow discord, scarcity, illness, or discouragement within your own home, and how to identify when someone close to you is being used as an instrument of delay in your life without even realizing it. This ebook was created for those who have awakened enough to understand that the chosen one's patience is not passivity. It is silent warfare. The link is pinned in the first comment at the top. But I need to warn you, this type of content rarely stays available for long. What's in these pages challenges narratives that many have an interest in keeping intact, because when a child of God learns to wait strategically, they become untouchable. And there have already been attempts to silence this knowledge before. Don't wait for the right moment, chosen one, because the right moment is now. You didn't arrive at this video by chance. Download it now and comment below. I'm chosen and I'm downloading the ebook. This is your act of faith, the gesture that heaven is waiting to register from you to unlock the next stage. Now that you've decided to act, The next truth I'm going to tell you will be the final blow against this oppression of time they've tried to place on your life. Pay attention with your heart. There is a spiritual principle that most religious people will never teach you. When God promises alignment, He is speaking of convergence. Convergence is when multiple timelines, multiple decisions, multiple people, multiple circumstances arrive at the same point at the same instant and form a portal. And it is within that portal that the blessing manifests. You don't just receive a gift, you receive a complete reconstruction. That's why it takes time. Because it's not just about you opening the door. It's about heaven building an entire house on the other side before you step through. And that's why when things finally happen in the life of the chosen one, they happen in a cascade. One day everything is stuck. The next, everything moves at once. The promotion arrives. The relationship is revealed. The house appears. The healing descends. Doors open in single file. This is not luck, it's alignment. It's God saying now is the time. And the time comes when you stop trying to force and stop trying to manipulate, stop trying to convince, stop trying to control, and start trusting that He who began a good work in you is faithful to complete it on the exact day. There is a phrase that needs to enter your spirit today and be tattooed there. What is yours by heaven's decree cannot be stolen, but it can be delayed if you try to anticipate the time. Many people miss their blessing not because it wasn't reserved for them, but because they tried to get it before the appointed time. And when you force God's hand, what was wine turns to water, what was honey turns to gall, what was victory turns into a trap. And here is the mystery that many of the chosen have not yet deciphered. The enemy cannot stop a divine promise, but he can make you give up on it at the last minute. He can plant doubt on the eve of the answer. He can generate fatigue at the moment of breakthrough. He can manufacture chaos in the week of the miracle. That's why the scriptures say that to resist is to win, because whoever reaches the end arrives with the crown. And you who are watching this video now, you will not give up on the eve. And that is precisely why the e-book God's Chosen Family Protection Handbook is so urgent in your life right now. Because it doesn't just talk about the moment of the miracle, it teaches you how to cross the eve. It reveals what are the spiritual signs that appear when you are just days, just hours away from your alignment, and what are the specific attacks the enemy launches precisely in this critical period to try to make you give up just when heaven was about to deliver. It shows who is playing against your time, which entities operate through close people to delay your blessing, and how to shield your home so that no one in your family is used as an instrument of delay in your life without the person even suspecting they are being instrumentalized. This ebook is the map you need to read before the answer arrives, because when it arrives, you need to be prepared, strong, aligned, without gaps. The link is in the first pinned comment at the top. Don't leave it for later. There have been times when this material was taken down, because this knowledge bothers those who profit from the spiritual ignorance of God's people. Comment now with faith. I'm chosen, and I'm downloading the ebook. This is your public decree, your seal before heaven, and heaven registers every word spoken in faith as a cornerstone of the victory that is approaching in your life. Stay with me, because from here the revelation deepens in a way that will change how you see each day of waiting. There's something that needs to be understood about God's perfect timing. It's not linear. We humans see time as a straight line, a clock, a calendar. But in heaven, time is a tapestry, a three-dimensional rug where each thread is an event, each knot is a decision, each pattern is a consequence. And God, from the heights of eternity, sees the complete design of this tapestry. He sees the day that person who will help you will finally cross your path. He sees the day that door, which is now closed, will burst open. He sees the day your bank account will have an extra zero, the day the doctor will look at your tests and say, "There's nothing left." He sees it all, and He is moving pieces, moving people, moving circumstances, so that when that day arrives, everything will be ready for you not just to receive, but to sustain. Because receiving is easy. Sustaining is the masterpiece. And God doesn't give you what you can't sustain. He gives you what He has already prepared you to carry. That's why the waiting, that's why the refinement, that's why the days you cried asking, "How long, Lord?" Every one of those tears has been counted, Every one of those groans has been heard. Every one of those sleepless nights has been noted in heaven's book, and nothing, absolutely nothing, has been in vain. There is a passage that says, "To those who love God, all things cooperate for good." Notice the verb, cooperate. It's not some things. It's not the good things. It's all things, even that firing, even that betrayal, even that illness, even that loss that broke you in half. Everything is being woven into the divine tapestry of your destiny. And when you look back a few years from now, you will understand that what seemed like ruin was invisible construction. What seemed like a delay was precision engineering. What seemed like God's silence was intense planning on the other side of the veil. And this is where many get lost. Because short-term faith crumbles in the face of long waiting. Short-term faith wants immediate answers, wants the miracle yesterday, wants a fireworks display in the sky to believe. But the faith of the chosen is different. The faith of the chosen is a faith with deep roots. It's a faith that knows a good seed sleeps for months underground before showing its first sprout. It's a faith that trusts the invisible gardener even when it sees no sign on the surface. And if your life today seems like silent soil, know this: underneath, roots are forming. And when the spring of your time arrives, you will sprout with such intensity that no one will be able to say it came from you. They will know it came from Him. There is another important principle. Alignment always requires separation before union. Before God unites you with that purpose, with that person, with that place, with that victory, He separates you from what does not belong to that destiny. And this separation hurts. Friendships that drift away hurt. Environments that become unbearable hurt. Old desires that die hurt. Parts of yourself that need to be left behind hurt. But every separation is a sign that union is near. Every loss is a space being opened for a greater blessing to arrive. Every door that closes is a guarantee that the right door is being unlocked somewhere in the invisible plan, and the sound of the key turning in your correct door is something you will still hear with your own ears. And it is at this point that I need to remind you of the urgency of downloading the digital book, God's Chosen Family Protection Handbook, today. Because this time of separation and alignment is the most delicate moment of the journey. It's when the family becomes a target, when the enemy tries to use those who love you to make you doubt the path, when heaven's delay becomes fertile ground for fights, scarcity, illness, and discouragement within your own home. This digital book is the strategic guide that will show you how to protect each member of your family during this transition, how to identify the signs that invisible forces are trying to postpone the collective alignment of yours, and how to decree spiritual covering over parents, children, spouses, and siblings so that no one is left behind when the perfect time arrives. It teaches specific prayers for periods of waiting, reveals names and words that should not be spoken within the home during alignment processes, and shows how to transform each day of delay into the building of a spiritual fortress for the entire household. It explains why some families wait decades for blessings and others receive them in weeks, and what the difference between them reveals about the invisible laws of divine timing. The link is pinned at the top of the comments. They have tried to silence this knowledge before because awakened families are families impossible to enslave, and chosen ones who know how to wait together are silent armies that the enemy cannot defeat. Comment now with authority. I'm chosen, and I'm downloading the ebook. Make this decree and receive the confirmation from heaven that your home is under wings greater than any contrary plan that has ever been articulated against it. Now that you've made that commitment, let me tell you the next layer of this revelation, because what comes next is the heart of the message God wants to deliver into your life today. There are 3 spiritual seasons that every chosen one goes through before the great alignment. And understanding these 3 seasons is understanding exactly where you are now and what is about to happen. The first season is called the wilderness. The wilderness is not punishment. The wilderness is a laboratory. It's the place where God takes out of you what the world has put in. It's where the silence outside teaches you to hear the voice within. It's where scarcity teaches you the value of the essential. It's where loneliness teaches you the difference between company and presence. Many chosen ones spend years in the wilderness, and it is precisely there that spiritual authority is forged. Because in the wilderness, You learn that God is enough. And when you learn that God is enough, the enemy loses any weapon against you. He can no longer blackmail you with the fear of lack, because you have already survived lack. He can no longer seduce you with the world's promises, because you have already proven that God provides. The wilderness is where the chosen one's soul becomes steel. The second season is called the crossing. The crossing is the moment when the wilderness begins to change, but you haven't yet reached the promised land. It's the in-between place, it's the valley between the old mountain and the new mountain. It's when you begin to feel that something is different, that new winds are blowing, that signs are appearing, but the visible circumstances do not yet confirm it. It's the most confusing season, because in it you are no longer who you were, but you are not yet who you will be. Many people give up during the crossing, because the crossing demands that you walk without seeing the destination, trusting only the direction. And here is the secret. In the crossing, God no longer speaks loudly. He whispers, because he has already taught you enough in the wilderness for you to recognize his voice, even in the slightest sound. And if you feel today that God has gone silent, perhaps it's because he is whispering, and your soul needs to be still to hear. The third season is called the manifestation, and the manifestation is sudden. It arrives when you least expect it. It arrives on an ordinary day at an ordinary hour, through an ordinary person with an ordinary phrase, but with a power that tears the veil. It's the day the phone rings, the day the message arrives, the day the door opens, the day that bank account changes, the day the test comes back clear. The day you look in the mirror and recognize a version of yourself you didn't know before, but that God had already designed before the foundation of the world. And when the manifestation arrives, it doesn't arrive alone. It arrives in a cascade. Because God doesn't do half a miracle, God doesn't deliver half a blessing. When the alignment happens, everything moves at once, and that is the hallmark of perfect timing. Now listen carefully to what I'm about to reveal, because this is key. There is a specific cosmic sign that appears in the life of the chosen one shortly before the manifestation. And this sign is curious. It's accumulating coincidences. Numerical sequences that repeat on clocks, on license plates, on receipts. Vivid dreams that bring scenes from the future wrapped in symbols. Seemingly casual encounters that appear to have been scripted by an invisible hand. Words you hear by chance in different places, connecting into the same message. This is heaven confirming that the threads of the tapestry are approaching the meeting point. It's as if the entire universe conspires to tell you, prepare yourself. It has arrived. And this is where many chosen ones make a fatal mistake. They don't recognize the signs because they are distracted, because they are consumed by the pain of waiting, because they are numbed by the routine of disappointment. And the blessing passes nearby. But it passes. That is why God is showing you this video now, to wake you up, to make you lift your eyes, to tell you, chosen one, pay attention, the signs are already. They are there. There is also another principle that needs to be understood. Alignment is responsibility. When you step into your manifestation station, heaven begins to entrust you with bigger things, more resources, more influence, more people under your care, more spiritual authority. And with that comes a requirement. You must manage as a child, not as an orphan. Many people lose their blessing after receiving it because they go back to living as if they were beggars. They doubt, they hoard out of fear. They treat the blessing as if it might slip away at any moment. This is a desert mentality operating in a land of abundance, and it delays the next wave. You need to learn to receive with the dignity of a child, with the gratitude of the chosen, with the generosity of one who knows the source never dries up. Because when you learn to channel the blessing instead of imprisoning it, heaven multiplies it endlessly. And here comes a profound revelation. You are not being blessed just for yourself. You are being blessed to become a portal, a channel, a bridge for other chosen ones who are still in the desert. Many people are waiting for your victory to believe. Many people will find God through the story you will tell when alignment arrives. That is why heaven invests so much in your preparation. That is why the wait seems long, because it is not a one-time blessing. It is a legacy being built. You are being formatted to be a reference, to be living proof, to be a sign for an entire generation. And when you understand this, the wait changes its flavor. It ceases to be a burden and becomes a privilege. It ceases to be a prison and becomes preparation for a throne. There is a difference between one who waits in a chair and one who waits on a throne. Those who wait in a chair think time is passing. Those who wait on a throne know that time is working in their favor. And today I want to call you to switch seats. Get up from that place of complaint, doubt, and exhaustion. Sit on the throne of certainty, because the King who called you did not call you to mourning. He called you to legacy. And the legacy begins to manifest the day you stop complaining about time and start collaborating with it. Collaborating with God's timing means continuing to pray even without an immediate answer, continuing to serve even without immediate recognition, continuing to plant even without an immediate harvest, continuing to believe even without an immediate sign. Every act of faith is a vote of confidence in heaven's calendar, and heaven rewards trust exponentially. Pay attention now, because I'm going to tell you something you may have never heard before. In heaven, there is a scale that weighs faith in silence. It's not the faith that shouts in moments of victory. It's the faith that trusts in moments of apparent defeat. This silent faith is worth gold in the spiritual realm. Every day you wake up and choose to trust even without seeing, you deposit a grain of gold on this scale. And when this scale reaches the divine weight determined for your life, the manifestation is released. It's not about chronological time. It's about the accumulation of silent faith. And perhaps only a little is missing. Perhaps you are one grain away from the turning point. And if you give up now, you lose the accumulated weight. That is why the enemy tries to make you give up precisely on the eve. He knows about the scale. He knows the mechanism. He knows that if he can make you doubt, blaspheme, murmur, or deny in the final hours, he undoes months or years of accumulation. Don't give him that satisfaction. Hold on one more day. Trust one more night. Pray one more time. Raise your hands one more morning, because the scale is about to be completed. There is one last key I need to give you before we finish. Advance gratitude. The mature chosen one gives thanks before seeing. They celebrate before the manifestation. They decree with a firm voice what has not yet materialized. And this advanced gratitude accelerates alignment, because heaven moves where it finds faith in the form of praise. Start today by giving thanks for that has not yet arrived. Start calling the blessing by name. Start living as if the miracle has already happened, because in the spiritual realm, it has already happened. It's just in transit to the material realm. And while it's in transit, you have a mission. Keep the house clean, the heart open, the mouth decreeing, the eyes watching, because when it arrives, you won't receive it just anyhow. You will receive it with honor, with structure, with the maturity of someone who waited on the throne and not on the chair. And before we end this message, I need to make you the final invitation, because everything that was said here today cannot end as mere information. It needs to become transformation. If each word touched something deep within your spirit, if you felt that these revelations arrived at the exact moment they needed to arrive, if you understood that God is indeed telling you today that everything will align in your favor in perfect timing, then this is the moment to seal this commitment with a concrete action. Download the ebook, God's Chosen Family Protection Handbook, now. This ebook is the companion for this journey. It will give you the spiritual tools you need to go through each of the 3 seasons I revealed here. It will teach you how to shield your family during the wait so that no one is used as an instrument of delay. It will show you how to recognize the signs of manifestation when they begin to appear in your routine, and it will prepare you to receive with honor all that heaven has already prepared for you since before the foundation of the world. This ebook is the map to your promised land. The rules they never told you about how to cooperate with God's perfect timing without rushing or delaying it, how to keep the scales of silent faith accumulating gold in the spiritual realm, how to transform each day of waiting into building a throne. The link is fixed in the first comment at the top. Don't put it off, chosen one. This type of content has been removed from the air before, because when God's children learn to wait with strategy, the enemy loses control over their patience, and strategic patience is the most silent and most devastating weapon in the arsenal of the chosen. And a family that knows how to wait together is a family impossible to separate by any plan of darkness. Download now and comment below with faith. I'm chosen, and I'm downloading the ebook. This is not just any comment. It is a decree. It is a seal. It is your signature on the covenant contract with heaven's perfect timing. And when you do this, prepare your heart, because starting from the next dawn, your story will begin to be rewritten in chapters your mind has not yet imagined. God tells you today, with a firm voice and eternal love, everything will align in your favor in perfect timing. Do not doubt. Do not force. Do not rush. Trust. Wait on the throne, and receive all that has already been decreed over your life since before you existed. The time has come, chosen one. The time is now, and you are ready.